I have a question that's gonna spark so much controversy in the comments. Cause it 1000% wrecked my entire pediatrics department here. Oh my gosh. It's actually starting to feel like my favorite season outside. Fall. Alright, to catch you guys up to speed, I'm in my last 2 weeks of my pediatrics rotation, finished up my 2 weeks of inpatient, finished up my 2 weeks of general outpatient. So now I am on my 1 week of newborn nursery, and then next week, my last week before the shelf, is pediatric rheumatology clinic. For newborn nursery, still early mornings, but I've been able to get out around like 11 o'clock. And you get to see cute babies. Believe me when I say, these days are starting to feel the same. And we're here back on the 7th floor, passing by the OBGYN workroom that I started my rotations on. Yep, the gyn-onc memories, all in that room. Those suck. And going back to labor and delivery, where I had a lot of good times. Except now I'm taking care of the babies, not the mamas. Still feel kind of like internal medicine or peds inpatient a little bit. Still got to get here early to pre-round on the brand new babies. Some of them are like hours old. Just cute. And one thing I learned today that no med school lecture or textbook will teach you is how to change a diaper. Yes, I changed my first diaper today. I was doing a newborn exam. I pooped. Nobody was in the room, so I was like, all right, here we go. Did I know how to do it, or was I winging it? Yes. So I wish there was a one-place resource for how to change a diaper, and fortunately there isn't one. But fortunately for all things med school, I have a fantastic all-in-one resource that I've been using since I think the 2nd month of med school that I can't recommend enough. It's called Amboss, and you may know them for their step 1 or step 2 resources like a question bank. But what if I told you that's not the reason why I actually recommend them so highly to all my peers? It's actually their knowledge bank that by far sets them apart from all the other resources out there and has saved me thousands and thousands of times, both in pre-clerkship and clerkship, making me look really good in front of my attendings and helping me to learn in the process. I usually describe the Amboss Knowledge Bank as just a simpler, cleaner, and way more efficient up-to-date because it allows you to get everything that you need really quick without having to comb through a ton of literature and text. It helped me make quick and confident decisions and presentations, all because it's right on my phone. It's like having my favorite chief resident talking to me right here. A quick example would be actually when I was on the inpatient wards and we had a patient who was about 5 weeks old get admitted for congenital syphilis. Fun fact, Augusta ranks number 2 in the nation for congenital syphilis cases. I don't really know why, but the more you know. The worst one is DC. Anyways, so the important things that I wanted to know when I picked up the patient was what to look for in the room as far as what I'm gonna see on a clinical exam, what are the labs that I want to tell my attending we want to order next, and then what's the immediate treatment or intervention that we need. In a couple clicks, right here, boom, on my phone, congenital syphilis, got all this information and exactly what I need at the palm of my hands. So when it's 6:30 and you're rounding, and your brain's a little fuzzy and the coffee hasn't kicked in, Amboss saves you right here. Knowledge Bank stretches even further than that and connects directly to your Anki, and yes, I use Anki. Some med students hate it, some students love it, but it allows you to hover over keywords on your cards. It'll give you a brief synopsis, and if you want to know more, you can click on it and get the whole spiel about whatever drug, condition, or even definition that you're looking for. It makes learning from Anki super easy and, dare I say it, sometimes even a little bit enjoyable. Amboss is an absolute must for any medical student to have in their pocket or on their computer because without all the frills, it gives you exactly what you need, when you need it, so that you can learn and apply in the clinical environment. which I am definitely gonna need when I go to pediatrics rheumatology clinic and they ask me about every antibody under the sun, because ain't nobody got time to memorize all that. I'm not gonna lie, this is the end of my 4th rotation in a row. These days are starting to run together, and I think for the first time in a long time, I might be a little burnt out. Which kind of sucks because they made us make a really, really important decision this week. Last week before the shelf, pediatrics rheumatology clinic. So time to have a real talk, and in all honesty, I think this is 90% for me, to just talk things through and try to verbalize some of the tough decisions that have to be made. And as evidenced by the title of this video, it is the hardest decision a medical student has to make, which is declaring a specialty. And in all honesty, I have been incredibly anxious because my school is trying to tell me, and all of our class, to kind of soft declare to get advisement from specific departments, which I think is incredibly unfair because a lot of us still have 2 rotations left, like me, and telling us to choose without having had that exposure is just not making an educated decision. And I really, really wish that I was one of those students that came in on day 1 and I said, I'm gonna do plastic surgery, because then I wouldn't have to worry about anything else. I could just cruise on through the rotations and just have my sights set on my goal, get through, and that's it. But I like a lot of things, which is simultaneously a horrible and a good problem to have. After this rotation, I 10,000% without a doubt love working with children and working with parents. And yes, I said working with parents, as crazy as that sounds. Because there really is a fulfilling sense in giving parents comfort in knowing that their kid is in safe hands. Now here's my problem. I don't know in what capacity I want to work with kids, whether that be in anesthesia, emergency medicine, or surgery, because those are the 3 I declared. But at the end of the day, I have to choose only one. And those routes are all very, very different and interact with kids and families in various different ways. And it sucks because my next 2 rotations are anesthesia and surgery. There are pros and cons to both, and after this pediatrics rotation, I don't know if I want to do a pediatrics residency, but I want to do a pediatrics fellowship. I've been advised by many faculty members and people whose opinion I hold very, very dear, and they're all like, if you can deal with adults, train with adults, it'll give you a better depth of understanding. But if you never want to treat an adult ever again in your life, do a pediatrics residency. And I don't mind treating adults, but the end goal isn't to treat adults, which puts me in a very gray area. And I love the OR, but can I withstand the hours and I think a lot of the disagreements I have with the culture of surgery? Or do I do anesthesia where it can be as hands-off or hands-on as you would like it to be? Or do I do emergency medicine and forgo my love for the OR in exchange for a lot of acute care situations, which I really, really love. And I just don't know. And that decision is the hard decision, not the soft decision, the hard decision of declaring just one specialty is creeping ever closer. And it's terrifying. I don't know if there's anybody here watching that is either a pediatric anesthesiologist, a pediatric emergency medicine doctor, or a pediatric surgeon. Could you hop in the comments, please, and just help me feel like I'm not making a wrong decision? Because I'm torn. I'm very, very torn right now. And that's like 95% of the reason why I'm so burnt out at the moment. But we carry on. We finish the pediatrics rotation. We go on to anesthesia, and we go on to surgery, and then work hard to make sure those board scores open as many doors as possible. That's the goal, at least. But yeah, I figure you guys would like an update on that. It's not the most concrete update, but I'll figure it out. Why do these drug companies make these boxes like opening up an iPhone? What?
Which I thought was our blind
And just like that, pediatrics rotation, done. Of course, for some reason, I couldn't leave without creating my little impact of chaos. Yesterday, one of my attendings asked, is chicken pot pie a casserole? For which I responded, what is the criteria for a casserole? What is the diagnostic criteria for a casserole? For which my resident goes, that is the most med student response I've ever heard, which then quickly devolved into a huge debate, which then ended with me introducing my entire office to the cube rule of food, which is, so now if you want to be a pediatrics resident here, you have to answer this question. Is chicken pot pie a casserole? You're welcome. That's my impact to this program.